When people of different ages get together, many things happen. Spontaneous discussions, exchange of feelings and catching up. What's going on in people's lives? What if your goal is to make something like intergenerational learning happen? We might think that it's something that just happens on its own, like it always has. So what exactly is intergenerational learning, and why should we promote it? Since the words are so long, let's use a shorter version, IGL, from now on. First of all, we need to define the word generation. The concept of age cohort, which is typical in population research, means certain aged people, for example, people born in 1950 to 1960. But an age cohort is not necessarily a generation. To form a generation, you need a cultural or societal shared experience that individuals can relate to. No one can draw a line where a generation begins or ends, or force someone to be a part of some arbitrarily named generation. But still, the concept of generation somehow describes a certain cohort, since their historical and cultural larger surroundings have been somewhat the same. It's also good to know what IGL means exactly. It can be seen as a learning partnership based on reciprocity and mutuality involving people of different ages where the generations work together to gain skills, values, and knowledge. IGL is also about increasing understanding and tolerance towards people of other generations. Interaction is nice, but actual learning, which is central in IGL, might need some encouraging. As mentioned, IGL is nothing new. It has always been the core of socialization, developing and sustaining cultures, and has happened naturally, mostly in the familial context. But the world is changing. The increased geographical distances within families have resulted in a larger need for intergenerational learning outside the familial context. You might say there is a need for extrafamilial intergenerational learning. This extrafamiliality, for example in the adult education field, needs active fostering and conscious guiding. Digitalization, climate change, and disappearing occupations or professions require new thinking and adapting skills. This makes IGL a two-way street for the young and the old, and makes reciprocity extremely important. IGL deepens mutual understanding between different generations. What's life like for different generations? Why do people act and think like they do? Understanding creates trust between people, and social cohesion is based on that trust. Trust also creates security and enhances willingness to work together towards common goals. In short, IGL creates social capital. The various aspects of social life enhance the feeling of social inclusion, the feeling that I'm not alone here, that we're all just people, regardless of age. Imagine yourself as a new type of professional, an educator of intergenerational learning. What kind of competences do you think you should have? To promote IGL, we need to know what kind of learning happens between generations. First, we need to acknowledge that age affects the way people learn. Still, intergenerational learning usually involves experiential learning, which means learning by doing. Learning happens while the learner is an active, hands-on participant. Experiential learning relies on the idea of constructivism. People tend to construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiences and reflecting on them. When we encounter a new experience, we are likely to relate it to our previous knowledge. This helps assess what we would like to do with the new experience in relation to what we know, discard it as irrelevant, or keep it as new knowledge. People construct their understanding of reality and accumulate knowledge in different ways. This is something an IGL educator should keep in mind. Intergenerational learning is not only about happy and joyful encounters with different aged people, it also has its darker sides. Please continue your journey by watching the next episode, The Shadows of Intergenerational Learning.